Hello and welcome to the penultimate edition of the MLB Division Breakdowns here at the Casual Fan Podcast, the most exciting, most informative, and most profitable sports gambling podcast out there. I am Ben Holmes. Don't forget to give us a quick like and a subscribe. It only takes you a second, but it means a lot to us here at the Casual Fan. Just 5 games separated the top 4 teams last year when all was said and done in this division, and all the over-under totals are really close again. It's going to come down to the wire, but I'll let you know who's going to be the teams that are going to finish over their totals and who's going to finish under come the last day of the season on October 3rd. So no one's surprised the Pittsburgh Pirates are plus 7,500 to win their division. Hell will freeze over. Pigs will fly before that happens. They were woeful last year, 19-41. You extrapolate that over a full season, that's just 51 wins. Their over-under going into the season is 59.5. That's 8.5 more wins, and all they did was lose. Chris Archer, Trevor Williams, Keone Kela, Jamison Tyone, Joe Musgrove, Josh Bell. These aren't all-stars by any means, but they were the only good players the Pirates had, and they don't have them anymore. They got rid of all of them. Here's my in-depth pitching analysis. It sucks. Hopefully Mitch Keller can develop into something, although I'm losing a bit of hope there, and Chad Kuhl's decent. He had one bad start against the Royals last year. He was good apart from that, but he doesn't go deep into games. He's an SP4. In terms of batting, rookie Ke'Bryan Hayes, 9th overall prospect in baseball. That's all they have to be excited about. And when 6'7" O'Neal Cruz gets his shot in the majors too, that'll be fun to watch. But it's not going to result in wins. I don't care if this team has the lowest over-under in the league, but for me, it's not low enough. This pirate ship is sinking. In fact, it's already sunk. The Chicago Cubs, winner of this division last year, their over-under coming into this year is 79.5. They were on pace for 92 wins last year. To be fair, they have lost quite a lot of guys. Guys like their closer, Jeremy Jeffers, and most importantly, Cy Young runner-up, Yu Darvish. They added Jock Peterson and they added some bench bats. They added Trevor Williams, they added Zach Davies that came back in that Yu Darvish trade, and they brought back Jake Arrieta, but that's just a disastrous homecoming waiting to happen. In terms of pitching, Kyle Hendricks, Zach Davies, I like them both, I truly do. They're actually quite similar, both low strikeout rates, both low velocity, but they both have absolutely elite control, especially from Hendricks, who had a 1.0 whip last year and led the league with a 0.89 base on balls per 9. Davies himself owns a very respectable 1.07 whip. They both lean on the sinker and changeup a lot, and they like to live in the bottom of the zone. And like I said, Jake Arrieta hasn't been good since 2016. He's losing velocity, he doesn't strike anyone out, and he throws a sinker more than any other pitch. And that sinker got hit almost half the time last year, .402 average against. Kimbrel's going in as the closer. It must be purely a financial decision because he has not earned that job, but he is on a big fat contract. His first 2 seasons with the club, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He went 20.2 innings pitched in 2019 with a 6.53 ERA. Last year, he pitched in 15.1 innings and had a 5.28 ERA. His strikeout rate is still elite, but he has absolutely no control whatsoever. I don't think even he knows where the ball is going to be once it leaves his hand. In terms of bats, Rizzo wasn't very good last year, but the numbers suggest that was mostly down to luck. Whereas Chris Bryant was just flat out bad. And now this brings us to Javi Baez. This has been a long time coming. The highs are really high. Boy, are the lows low, just like last season. That's what happens when you swing at every single pitch. Just so you folks at home know, an 8% swinging strike rate is good for a hitter. 10% is okay. Baez was at 19.1, and he's always been around there. Even in his good years, he had a really high swinging strike rate. Last year was a good indication, and it shows us that that is not sustainable. He struck out 75 times, walked 7. He's not going to be in any video game covers anytime soon. They do have one of the best offensive catchers in the league in Wilson Contreras. I know I just seem to pile on the Cubs a lot, but that 79.5 number is quite low for a team that won the division last year. To me, the Cubs aren't that much different in 2021 than they were in 2020. Sure, they lost Yu Darvish and they did lose Kyle Schwarber, but they brought in Jock Peterson to replace Schwarber. They're kind of interchangeable power bats for me who both struggle against lefties. So just Yu Darvish, take him out of the equation. The drop-off's too big for me. I'm actually going to take the over 79.5. Plus, it doesn't hurt that thare going to face the Pirates, are going to lose pretty much every game this year. Now let's move on to the Brew Crew in Milwaukee, plus 350 to win the division. Over under is 82.5. That's 4 games more than they were on track to win last year. In terms of transactions, they seem to be kind of aggressive. They brought in Colton Wong, Travis Shaw, and Jackie Bradley Jr. all in free agency. Wong and Bradley are on 2-year deals that aren't cheap. They're all projected to start opening day. In a word, underwhelming. These players are not difference makers. Jackie Bradley might be in the field, but that's about it. Nothing to write home about. The Brewers do always seem to have one of the best bullpens in the league, and this year won't be much different, highlighted by Josh Hader at the back end. Now let's go on to rotation. Brandon Woodruff, an absolute stud. .99 whip last year kind of says it all. Elite strikeout stuff, great control, constantly around a 50% ground ball rate. He was 9th last year with a 24.9 K to base on ball percentage, which is one of the best metrics around to gauge how effective a pitcher is and how good he demands his pitches. And he was 9th in the league in that last year. And he throws 5 high quality different pitches to always keep the opposing hitters guessing. Corbin Burnes is not a household name yet, but he will be. He received some Cy Young votes last year. His fastball was alarmingly bad in 2019, so he just dissed it for a sinker last year and it absolutely worked like a treat. He strikes out half the guys he faces, had a 2.11 ERA last year, gave up only 2 homers all year, and that's across 59.2 innings pitched. Opponents hit just 174 against him. He's a 1.02 whip, nipping right on Woodruff's heels there. He's only 26 years old, and like his colleague Brandon Woodruff, he has 5 high quality pitches too. His best of all is his slider, which he has an unfathomable 60.3% whiff rate with. Unfortunately, as excited I am about those 2 pitchers, I'm equally disinterested with the rest of the rotation. On the offensive side of the ball, they have one of the best hitters in the game in Christian Yelich. He was the MVP in 2018 and the MVP runner-up in 2019. He did have an absolutely monstrous, eye-opening, jaw-dropping decline last year. If anyone's earned the benefit of the doubt, it's Christian Yelich. Apparently, the lack of access to communal video rooms to analyze his at-bat really hurt him. He really likes to look at that film, I guess. So the access should be more available this year, so that should help him get back to his old numbers. And then you look at the young Keston Hiura, an up-and-comer, but he was absolutely terrible last year in the 60 games he played. He hit just above the Mendoza line and he strikes out way too much. His swinging strike rate was 2nd in the league with 20.4%. Granted, that is a thing that rookies tend to do, and he will be good in time, but he's not going to be good enough to be the 2nd bat on a contending team in 2021. The rest of the lineup is really underwhelming to me, highlighted by the 3 guys I mentioned in the transactions. It's a very top-heavy team in both the lineup and in the rotation. 2 elite starters with a big drop-off after that, and 1 elite hitter with a big drop-off after that. Their off-season moves tell me they want to remain competitive, but this is a big under for me. I'm actually surprised they're plus 350 to win the division, but I don't think they stand a chance. Just like the Brewers, the Cincinnati Reds coming to the year at plus 350 to win the division. The over-under is 82.5, which is 1 game less than the 83.7 they were on track to win last year. In terms of transactions, the biggest one without a doubt is Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer. They also lost their fairly long-time closer Raisel Iglesias. So losing their ace, losing their closer, that's not a good sign right off the jump. All acquisitions mostly came in the pen, but no one really jumps out as a difference maker there. They have the same division odds as the Brewers, like I said, and they also have a similar structure when it comes to their rotation. They have a good 1-2 punch at the top and then a fairly big drop-off. Sonny Gray has been great his first 2 seasons in the Queen City. 2020 was worse than 2019, but that all looks to be down to the fact that his slider was not as effective. He'll go back to the lab, he'll fix that, he'll come out firing this year. Although he really could not get away with another season walking 4.18 batters per 9. Luis Castillo, all you need to know is if he does what he did last year, he'll be great again. 6 of his 12 starts were quality starts. He has one of the best change-up fastball combos in the league, and he has a phenomenal slider. I think he should really work on featuring that slider even more than he does. Amir Garrett is going to be Iglesias' replacement as the closer. He only has 1 career save to his name. Left-handed closers are fairly rare. He only throws a fastball and a slider, 2 pitchers, but hey, that's really effective for a lot of guys. Guys like Ken Giles, for example, he's lived off just throwing 2 pitches as a closer, and I don't see why Amir Garrett can't do the same. There's pop all through this lineup. Jesse Winker right at the top has great plate discipline, 15.3 base on ball percentage, and he has power to boot, a .289 ISO last year. And as you can imagine, it's hard to fit in and integrate yourself into a new team during a COVID pandemic year with everything going on. So Nick Castellanos and Mike Moustakas will bounce back in their second year in Cincinnati, and they'll contribute in a big way. Eugenio Suarez dropped off last year, no denying it, .202 average. But the year before, he hit 49 bombs. Enough said. Captain Canada, Joey Votto, he's not what he used to be. Conversely, Nick Senzel, he was a really highly touted prospect, and he hasn't brought to the table what he's capable of yet either. They're a completely different end of the spectrums of their career, but hopefully they can meet in the middle and contribute in a big way for the Reds. The infield defense is a concern. Starters 3, 4, and 5 are slightly concerning as well. However, this team will put up runs, and we've already talked about how bad the other teams in this division are, so I'm gonna lean over here. And this brings us to the St. Louis Cardinals. Their over-under is 87.5, and they're plus 105 to win the division. Clear favorites, but if you bring together all the favorites to win their respective divisions, the Cardinals have the second longest odds. And that makes sense, because just like the Braves, who have the longest odds, those two teams are not slam dunks to win their division. But guys, in terms of transactions, look no further than adding a future Hall of Famer still in his prime to the hot corner. That's Nolan Arenado. He's been a Gold Glove every year in the league. Before last season, he was a top 10 in MVP voting 5 seasons in a row. He averages roughly 40 homers, just over 100 runs, and over 120 RBIs in that 5-year time span. In fact, in that span, amongst third basemen, he was number 1 in RBI with 621 over 5 seasons. The next closest at third base, Manny Machado, 469. That's over 150 RBIs less than Arenado. That's a full season's worth of RBIs. Arenado, I don't want to say he's underrated because everyone knows how good he is, but watch for him to wreak absolute havoc in the NL Central. I don't care if you take him out of Coors Field, he's still going to deliver in an absolutely massive way. And he's not even 30 yet. Just think about that. Think about what he has left in the tank. Goldie doesn't have the power or speed he used to, but he's going to be an asset playing every day in that lineup. Paul DeJong isn't a superstar, but he was an all-star in 2019, and he's a top 10 in basically every power and RBI category between his rookie season and last year at his position. I'm buying all the Tyler O'Neill stock. I think he's going to bust out this year. Granted, I've been saying that for the last 2 years, but this is the year, mark my words. And all the other guys to fill out the lineup, they can run the base path. They got speed. Well, obviously except Old Man Molina, but if you were entering your 17th season, especially at catcher, you'd be pretty slow as well. For pitching, Jack Flaherty is more than capable of winning the Cy Young this year. Their pen is great, and they have great versatility in terms of who can close, who might be able to come in and start a game every once in a while, and a good mix of lefties and righties as well. The rest of the rotation isn't great, but it's all veterans who will do a job for you. Carlos Martinez is the only real question mark there, but Alex Reyes, Ponce de Leon in the bullpen, they can come in and give you a spark if you need. Based on a combination of the St. Louis Cardinals team strength and the lack of strength in the rest of the division, I like the over 87.5 here. I really, really do. I try not to go chalk here, but I don't really see how the Cardinals don't come on top of the division, and the fact that it's still in the plus money territory where you'll more than double your money, I say put it all on them. Go absolutely nuts. I feel pretty confident in saying that. So let's bring out the confidence meter, aka the confidometer, 1 through 5 in terms of my personal confidence, where I lay my money here on the over-unders in the NL Central. I'm most confident in number 1, the Brewers under 82.5. Number 2, the Pirates under 59.5. Number 3, the Cubs over 79.5. Number 4, the Cardinals over 87.5. And number 5, the Reds. I'm gonna go for the over 82.5, but it could go both ways there. Catch you for the next breakdown where we're gonna be looking at the NL West. It arguably has the 2 best teams in baseball, so why not come and join in and see how they're gonna finish? I have been Ben Holmes. This has been the Casual Fan Podcast. Like, subscribe,